Welcome, everybody, to Plat Chat VALORANT, episode 148. We're in a silly mood today, maybe. I'm going back and forth between silly and serious, and we're gonna dive into all that later. Now, if you're a video watcher, you'll notice that we're all actually wearing black right now. We've shown up for the Overwatch League funeral. Our condolences to the league, of course. Stole Mimi's joke from before the show started. Cha-ching, cashing another big W for myself. And also, the most family-friendly gaming show in the nation, possibly the globe. We don't curse. We don't say naughty things. Your children can watch. Your Christian grandmother can watch. Everybody can watch Plat Chat. Josh, you've been on vacation. What have you been doing? Where have you been living this soft life at, huh? Wales?
Actually kind of close to Wales. Yeah, I went down to Devon in the southwest. No, I went down to I just unplugged for a while, you know. I was just too into all of the internet stuff. So I queued up a bunch of YouTube videos and was constantly making, I don't know, changes to stuff and keeping in touch with people via the internet, and barely went outside. Yeah, it was here. I had like scones with cream and jam on them and stuff. It was great.
Scones? Delicious.
Scones, yeah, scones. They're like biscuits.
I know what a scone is, but that's so British. Yeah. It's tragic.
What, saying scone?
Yeah. So, every once in a while, I just remember you're British, and I'm just a little disappointed.
It's not just about being British. It's the posh people in Britain say scone. They're like, oh, would you mind giving me a bit of the cream cheese on the scone? That's just you're just speaking like a middle class, upper class Southern prick is basically what you've gone for.
That's my dream job.
Is prick safe? Can we say that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're not going to get demonetized for a bit of prick. Like, what happens if you ran into a thorn bush and you were like, oh, no, the prick got me?
I've been pricked.
So that's it, Josh. You went to Wales, you had scones, and now you're back.
Yeah, it really wasn't that eventful. I just went down south for a while, and now I'm back living the exact same life. I went out playing tennis earlier. I'm playing badminton after this. I went and did some more pottery stuff. I'm just doing my own little, you know, living my little hobbit life, honestly.
Yeah, no, you're doing your potteries. I like that. I like where you're taking it. I like the new Josh. In some ways, I don't like what. Oh,
speaking of demonetization, easy for me to say. Demonetization.
Like
check this out. It might be worth it. We just want to give a very special wish to one of our guests today. It's Mimi's birthday, and we wanted to play this video and potentially get demonetized.
Is this going to demonetize us?
Yeah, no, this is great.
Happy birthday, Mimi.
Thank you, Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I love when he walks. This is awesome.
Look at how unbelievably jacked the kid is in this. Like, it's the little kid's like birthday.
What? Yeah, what? The tall Spider-Man is lanky.
Dude, look at those bunnies.
If you skip it forward to like 40 seconds as well, the beat drops.
I'm gonna be the dad Spider-Man has that DreamHack 2015
Wait, can you guys do the
body.
dance?
What? The mom's. I'm not gonna comment.
She's kind of
not gonna comment. Not gonna.
We're all thinking it, but no one's gonna say it.
Yeah.
We're all thinking
We're
it.
gonna say Bala.
No.
Just
we can't get demonetized.
Friendly.
This is a random person making this, surely.
This is apparently some kind. Well, I think it's. I can't tell what language it is, but at the end, it's like got the actual kid's face just pops up that it was made for.
That's
it's got like
awesome.
430k views though as well, and it's from years ago.
That's amazing.
He's an icon.
The kid's probably about as old as you are now, Mimi.
That's awesome. So it really is realistic. It feels like it was made for me.
All right, so
have you got anything good planned for your birthday?
I'm gonna have my first ever sip of Heineken 0.0 to understand what a scent tastes like. That's my plan for this evening.
Dude, that's a great plan.
I
can't wait till we go to
man.
Other than that, I'm gonna go to the DMV and get my license renewed.
That is so
sounds
really
terrible.
exciting.
Fun. All right. Fun is done. Because I have a bone to pick with one of you. One of you thinks that you can just, you know, put some serious negativity out in the universe and then just go on vacation, huh, Wilkinson? You think that you can just release a straight hit piece on one of my favorite players and just go on vacation after, like you didn't just drop a tactical nuke, huh? Is that, Josh, is that what you think? Because I wanted to have a nice week, and I couldn't, and now you're here, and you're going to answer for your crime. Don't sit there mouth agape. You're going to answer for your crimes. Josh, what do you have to say for yourself?
I did message Arden like the day before I released
Don't bring me into this, bro.
Arden loves TenZ.
No.
I messaged Arden the day before, and I told him what had happened, right? The night before I released the video, I had a dream that Sean Gares walked up to me and said, you know, TenZ is really upset at that video that you posted. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I know he's going through some shit. Like, I didn't mean for it to be, like, super negative. I'm sorry. Like, could you pass on that? I don't mean it personally. And Sean's like, yeah, okay. And then I'm like, but Sean, how's he watched it? I haven't even published it yet. I was going to publish it tomorrow. And then I woke up and I was like, I'm in Devon in a fucking caravan. Like, what have I done with my life? What is going on right now? How am I getting bothered by this?
In Devon.
Yeah. So I just felt like I wanted to make a video that was a bit more like, I haven't done any VOD review videos on my channel yet, and I wanted to make like a 20-minute video.
Guys, how long was the video again? Just for the record?
Yeah,
I'm
like an hour 20.
Hour 20?
Yeah.
Add an
but
extra
the
hour.
problem is, if you just make it 20 minutes, then you're not putting everything in, and then it's like, people are like, oh, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? So, yeah. I don't know.
You've caused a butterfly effect of think pieces, Josh. That's all.
Did you see the fucking email that I got? Did you see the email that me and Arden got tagged in after I said that TenZ was a bit of a problem on Plat Chat before? I don't think I ever talked about this, but somebody literally emailed me and CC'd in Bala like he was my boss to like dob me into my boss, and was basically ranting and raving about how terrible of a person I am because I was like criticizing TenZ. And this was like a couple of months ago, so I was like, okay, clearly if I'm getting a reputation for just being a TenZ hater, I need to put some evidence out there of like why I think like this. I'm not just hating on the dude. I don't dislike him.
Yeah, Josh, I'm starting to think you have some kind of you know that scene from Game of Thrones where Cersei's like walking through the city like shame, and they're throwing tomatoes at Cersei. I feel like
I got so hard watching that.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, you get off on that. I know for a fact you were sitting there with a fucking stiffy watching that scene because you have a shame thing. You want all of Japan to hate you. You want all of who else hates you? You want all of the TenZ fans, obviously. Who?
The French.
100 Thieves.
The French 100 Thieves. There's something.
Where's the 100 Thieves thing come from?
Oh, you were like the number 100 Thieves hater for years, Josh. That's well documented. We all know it. Remember? Anybody else remember 2020 to 2022? Anyone?
Yep.
I remember
Every
that.
single Reddit post of our episodes. Why is Josh such a hater? Josh and Bala, 100 Thieves haters constantly.
You know,
And
I
he's
actually
always,
remember.
I was like, why am I attached to this? Why am I
Way
always
back when.
attached to this guy? I don't get it, man.
I don't know.
He's pulling everyone's reputation down. I remember when Nadeshot did a really nice thing for his team. He's such a nice guy. He gave them all a fresh, beautiful pair of Yeezys, and Josh said that they were the worst Yeezys he's ever seen, and that he hates 100 Thieves. And I thought that was really fucked up, personally.
I did not do that. At no point did I ever do that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, all right. Well, glad we got to the bottom of that. I mean, you just fessed up to it immediately. My theory that wasn't so much theory. It was just a good estimation of reality, frankly.
I think 2 weeks ago, Bren was talking about how clout is an infection that's taken over the scene. And a bunch of people have left comments of like, well, you've got to do them about other people now. You can't just leave it about TenZ. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, it took me like 2 weeks to do that video. And I don't just want to keep making them about more and more and more people. That is literally the cloutiest thing to do, is just try and reap the formula as many times as possible. Why SK Rossi is not the current GOAT? Like, just leave me be.
He just wants to go to
stirs
Dover.
the pot. Guys, just leave me be, please. Addicted, non-stop pot stirrer. Dude, this guy, man. This guy. All right, let's take some more estimations of potential realities that we're going to be walking into. What is going on with the new agent? Agent 24. It's a duelist. Is it Reyna 2? Is it Jet 2? Are there going to be all types of new abilities? Is the game going to change? Any theories? Any thoughts? Do we have any tangible information? Wilkinson has a theory.
Yeah, I have a theory. So, we're all here gathered for the death of the Overwatch League, as we should be, quite serene and proper. And some of those people, for example, Proper, might end up coming over to play in Valorant, right? And I think this isn't a new agent. I think this is a leak that Architect, the old player for the San Francisco Shock, is coming over and is going to get baked. His consciousness is going to get baked into the game, and we're just going to have waves of new people coming in. They're going to be called all sorts of silly things like Architect and Pineapple and the Prophet and Proper and Prophet again. You watch it, it's happening.
That's a good theory. My theory?
I'm waiting for if anyone else has any other thoughts or any other theories.
Yeah. It's named Architect. There's an architect in the Matrix, but you know what else? Where else there's an architect in?
Myth, Fortnite?
Fortnite, exactly. We're getting the Fortnite agent. You're going to be able to build stairs, walls, cones, roofs, everything. You can edit through all of them. So you can box people like fishes finally, and you guys will understand what it means. And, yeah.
I actually think it will be a building agent. I think that's the future the kids want. Average 13-year-old. What do they not know how to do? Build a house. They need manual labor. They need jobs. Something future-proof. Technology's going down this fucking stream. We're gonna have Y2K2 coming up soon. And you know what they need to know how to do? Build. Valorant could teach that. The future is now.
How are you on the children need jobs train again? How are you again down the children crave the mines?
For building. Why do they play Fortnite if they don't want to build a house? We have a fucking housing crisis in this country. Let's put them to work. Let's fix it. The only way we're going to densify Los Angeles is if the children help. They can save it.
Also,
agreed.
So I think that was. I was trying to keep track. I think that was the first curse of the episode.
No, it was Josh.
No.
Josh said fuck twice.
I busted it in like the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, when he was talking about Dover.
Dude,
Devon, not Dover. I didn't
Whatever
go to
it's called.
Please,
Close to Dover,
maybe
right?
Can you get the
Limestone
hot
cliffs.
tourist destination correct? It's Devon. Please.
Sorry. I just hear Devin and I just like think of a guy who like lives. He's just like a stoner in the basement playing like I don't know, Elden Ring for his 3rd playthrough.
Why do I feel personally attacked?
Is there anything
Devin
else
sounds
with
beautiful.
with the architect? What?
I don't understand what this is.
What is
this?
this?
That's
apparently
crazy.
one of its like abilities.
He's
don't
gonna have a
even
hexagon.
That's not a hexagon.
Yeah, I mean, there's hexagons within it. You see, it's like made up of like multiple hexagons. It's
Mimi, what is a hexagon? Can you
a
please?
6-sided shape. That's not 6-sided. Wait, how many sides does it? But doesn't it kind of look like each
No,
of the
I'm
little
rolling with you, Mimi.
nubs is like part of a
I understand
hexagon?
what you're going for.
I would
No,
say that
Mimi's-
looks hexagonal.
It's a hexagon if you're a free
Does it?
thinker.
Yes. Look at it. It's like
Right,
each
I
little
see
side
what
is
you mean.
half.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's a trapezoid. Oh, it's a circle made up of multiple
trapezoid?
trapezoids. Trapezoid isn't that half a hexagon?
I mean, yeah, it is half a hexagon. Yeah. I don't think its
those are
ability
gears.
is going to be to confuse people in terms of how many sides the ability has.
You have to
I don't-
solve a math problem, like a geometry problem, before you move past that ability. you have to do a proof.
SAT questions at you.
I think it is about sides because you could be editing out of one side of your box or the other side of your box.
I mean, it could be. By the way, I mean, for this, we're talking about like shapes. The audio listeners right now just open Spotify and they're looking for a new podcast. What? There's no way to break this down for the audio listeners at home. There's a shape.
Is this a
like
new map
cogs?
also that this is on? This picture? Where is this? This
That's
is like this
on
like guess this map location
Split.
game. Is it? I've never
No,
seen those
with
little
no
things
sockets
on
in
the
the
right
wall?
before.
I made that up.
I mean, I play low settings, so maybe I'm trolling, but like I don't recognize.
I don't know
this.
where that is. That might be in Fortnite.
There
Isn't
really
this the
might be.
new
Oh.
map, Sunset?
I mean, it must be.
Maybe?
But
I don't know where though. Where on
yeah,
Sunset?
Not
I mean, I feel like that's not like the motif. It's probably maybe.
The
Maybe like
audio
deep in
listeners
Spawn
are
or something?
throwing their AirPods out the window right now.
No, Spawn is like a bike shop. It's a bike shop.
Audio listeners, really try to visualize
the way,
somewhere
there
on
is
Sunset that
audio.
has sockets.
There's audio attached to this.
Where?
Play the audio.
I don't
Where?
know. I don't know.
Kurt,
Valor
make the
leaks?
audio happen.
There's audio
Use your
attached.
mouth.
Just where is it? I don't know.
Valor leaks?
But Kurt, don't
I can make
complain.
the-
Just
Actually, Kurt,
make
what do
the
you think
audio.
the audio
Make
looks-
noises, Kurt.
I wish I had. That's what it sounds like. It makes like a.
Wait, actually,
Finally, something for
that
the audio
sounds pretty
listeners.
good.
Kurt, if you never mind. Actually, don't pull it up. All right. Kurt, pull something up. Never mind. Don't pull it up. I don't know if is there.
what about
that's
the
it.
picture?
I see
we
two
didn't analyze
images.
the picture.
Well,
You always-
go on then. Do you want to analyze the picture? There's
course, it's
normally
always
some
fun.
kind of
Oh my
lore
God.
stuff inside the picture.
Yeah.
No, the other one where it's
Oh.
where he's like he's got chopsticks and he's picking up a piece of.
This is a
Okay,
hot pot.
fine. Now I'm going to
Something.
ask Kurt to pull it up if we're analyzing
go.
this picture. Kurt, if you go to the Twitter of Uberchain, she did a crazy breakdown of this image that is
Oh,
worth
really?
looking at. Yes. She did
Uberchain
the
is very
deduction.
much a lore detective.
She sleuth. Yeah, it was
She's a
some
goat.
lore activity. Yeah, get on there and get scrolling. And guys, let's fill this dead air. Jaws
Yeah, this
Thanos
is it.
is not it.
Yeah,
That's-
this
but
is it.
you're getting warmer. You're on the right. You're definitely on the right track.
Just
Definitely on the
playing
right
hot
track.
or cold with the entirety of Twitter. Just keep scrolling down your
Found it?
feed.
Keep
You'll find
going.
it eventually.
Okay, wait. So, Uberchain posted, I figured out that Twist Agent 24 is from Singapore. They're eating at Uncle Fong's, I can't pronounce, hot pot chain. I don't know how to pronounce that without sounding like a dumbass American. It's very distinct, but the pot looks the same as Uncle Fong's pot. This was probably one of the reference photos the artist used. And then, she attached to like the Valorant image. And it's just the exact same image from an article on The Weekender, #Weekender Eat. And so it's
Isn't
just
that,
the
like, the biggest
exact
city?
same.
Isn't Chongqing? I don't know how to say it. Isn't that like the biggest city in the world? I think
What?
it is.
What?
What?
Isn't it? Am I trolling?
Largest
I'm
city in
trolling.
China and
Biggest?
Largest city,
gateway.
I mean, if it's the largest city in China, it probably
Like
is. the
surely
largest
it
city
is,
in the world.
right?
But largest
But I
by
think a lot
what?
of that is based off
Population
like
size?
the metropolitan area is like huge. What they considered. If you pull up the Wikipedia and you look at the size of it, they're considering a massive area to be the biggest thing, which is probably why the like municipality is the biggest in the world.
Wow, that's like
I don't know. It all comes down to semantics, but if you consider, I think the whole like metropolitan area, I think it is the biggest.
how have we got onto this again? How
I
have
love
we got
derailing
onto
this
city
podcast.
planning?
It's Mimi's birthday. She can talk about metropolitan areas.
I get like
but
3.
you have
okay,
a
I've used one.
3-time metropolitan area quota. You've already said it twice, so use your last metropolitan area
Okay.
wisely, Mimi. All
I'll
right.
save it for now. Thank you.
So sorry, if that is a Chinese city, how have we gone to Singapore?
Because it's Chongqing
It's just- yeah.
style. It's like the style of hot pot, but it's a restaurant for that in Singapore.
Never had like Szechuan Chinese style food at your
Yeah,
in,
but I
in-
would-
in Dover or wherever the fuck.
Yes, but for example, if it was a picture of somebody eating, I don't know, a Devon cream tea, but they happen to be eating it on a Parisian
not
plate, I
question
wouldn't think that
Uberchain.
it was.
She
Well,
knows.
no, I'm just saying,
She
why would you
knows.
assume that it was a Chinese
it's a chain
agent?
called Uncle Fong's or something like that, and they have places in Singapore that they just opened up.
Oh, okay.
It's a chain that is Chongqing style that is all over the place.
Right. Got it.
The Devon.
Consider me
cream tea.
educated.
There we go.
Learning.
What tools is he using? Or
All right.
is she using?
I've had enough.
Fuck.
I've had enough.
I was
all right.
trying.
Let's talk rosters.
Wyatt gone.
Yes. MIBR. What is it? Who wrote this slanderous title? I want their head on a spike.
No, but it's kind of facts.
MIBR aiming for 11th place in Americas. That is. I don't think that. I had to read it because I'm the host, but I don't.
Well, okay, who's 11th place in Americas then?
Yeah.
It's, I'm trying to think.
Who?
And
Who's
also,
even close to MIBR
Who
in 11th
like
place?
really sucks? Let's. Who is there? Who
I mean,
is
we
there
don't
that just
know
like,
all
wow,
of the
they
rosters.
really
Like, there's literally a tier gap for MIBR at this point.
Ooh, damn.
oh,
Well,
Continue.
what are
Why?
Fury doing with their roster? I can't even remember what Fury are up to.
Furia,
Furia,
they've got
what are
like
they up to?
Havoc, MW, blah, 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 some other people. All right,
Rod-
Oh, yeah, they're actually.
Conan.
Theirs
should be
looks
fun.
interesting.
all right. We need to dive in head first. Okay, you get your little
ready.
fins on. What are those little flapper shoes that you go swim with? Get
The
those
flapper
on.
shoes,
We're
that's
diving
actually what
into
they're called.
MIBR. I need to see the roster here. It's speculated to be. Okay, there we go. Arzin, Mazin, JZZ, FRZ, and RGL Meister. Thoughts, opinions, and honest to God reactions. Wilkinson.
It's not the most horrible roster I've ever seen in my life, but
Dude,
compared to the other people in America's, it ain't looking superb, is it?
There we go.
Especially
Shane
considering how they
King
performed this
Wilkinson
year.
back at
No,
it
it's
again.
not. It's not. I think. I mean, I don't feel like their performance this year has been particularly good. Is that roster significantly upgraded based off the previous, compared to the previous one? Have they got a change in leadership? I mean, they've brought back in, or rather, they've changed out their IGL for somebody who I don't think did that well this year anyway. It's not like they've got fresh ideas in the team particularly. I don't know. I felt like JCZ had some potential throughout the year, but it's kind of tough when everything's falling to pieces around you and you're always feeling like you're on the back foot. I don't expect them to do very well.
I mean, towards the end of the season, I think that even with Muriz and Heat, who I don't know, I still rate them significantly higher than like a Mazine. Not significantly, I shouldn't say that. Than Mazine or somebody like that. I don't know much about Artson, but sounds like me, so he's cool. Artson. It's just they were to me they were the worst team by a long shot after about their win against NRG. They just lost everything after that, other than the 100 Thieves game, and it just was never inspired. It never was people stepping up. It was very rarely any sort of like push at even trying to make those games close. There was a lot of blowouts for them. Like they weren't. It felt like they weren't even trying towards the end. They had a good start, but like it just slipped so
at
far
the end as
further
well,
than Crew.
Heat was gone at the end, right? So
For one game, no?
No,
I mean,
for like
LCQ
LCQ,
as
he was
well.
gone.
LCQ 2, which was also one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought wasn't it for more than one game at the end of the season? Was
Yes,
it only
it
that
was
game
against at
100
least
Thieves?
EG and 100 Thieves at the end of the
I
season.
think the first game was the 100 Thieves game.
No, he was going for EG.
No,
as well.
it was easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean we're
I'm not even counting those games though. Like it's before that. They went on like a four loss streak in games that like they had chances to make playoffs. They had chances to like I was putting them like for sure after they beat NRG. I was like, yeah, they could take Leviathan. They can do this. Leviathan is in a slump.
They got
And they just
smoked by
got
Leviathan.
smoked, and then they got smoked by
They
Sentinels.
got
and
rolled by
smoked by
Sentinels as well.
Furia, and like it's just look at 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, 0-2. It was such a bad end to the season
It was
for something promising, and I don't know. When I look at that, obviously I think these guys had like a massive fracture within the team. That it makes sense that they're not going to be able to perform after something like that if the team is falling apart internally.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I mean, maybe replacing two problem players in Heat and Muriz who have gone together like forever. But the pieces beyond that, they had moments, but I don't see like the vision with them. You know what I mean? I don't see the vision that Bizuka is trying to go with the three players that they stuck with.
Yeah, I also think this is just kind of like sad because this now probably means we don't have Digis in on a team who for me was like always kind of a standout throughout his time last year. And I know that was rumored to happen. Now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And honestly, MIBR, it just kind of looks like uninspired. I'm not really familiar with the players they've picked up at all from the Brazilian scene. But
Well,
I feel
Mazin
like
played for Furia. You're familiar.
Oh yeah, Mazin did, but the Arden too. I mean, if he's like you, maybe it's a good move, but who knows? Who knows? But I just feel like the core roster just seemed so fractured throughout the entire time, and just was never really up to snuff with the rest of the league. So I feel like, barring we get another situation where like, oh, no one really knew about this guy, he's gonna be crazy, maybe they could step it up. But I just feel like the core isn't really in a position where they ever looked close, really, throughout their Americas run, besides the few upsets they were getting early on.
Will they do better than last place this time? They came in last. I mean, not in the regular season, but, you know, if you include LCQ, they came in last.
What is Crew doing with that roster again? Because they're rumored to be picking up Shy on Sentinel.
Yes, they have Shy.
They're keeping Melzer.
Shy, Melzer, Kesnet, Klaus. Still, they were trialing, and I think they're keeping him. I heard, and I can't remember.
Yes,
the
they're
last
keeping
player.
I mean,
the
I
last
think
player
that
is somebody
looks.
else from.
I think that roster looks better, and I think that they've at least showcased some ability to play, you know, a coherent system under Melzer's IGLing.
Yeah,
I think that the roles make a bit more sense on that team as well. I'm even struggling in my head to try and figure out, like, okay, if Artsin's coming in and he's going to be playing Duelist for them, and that pushes JCC over to playing, like, full Initiator for them, and then they have Mazin playing Flex, probably. RGL smokes. So then is FRZ just on perma Sentinel duty?
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is assuming that there's, like, a standard meta. It might not look anything like that, but I am not inspired by this. It does look like the weakest roster that I've seen rumored or reported on so far.
Yeah, I do think like the Furia moves, the MIBR moves, maybe as well allowed. I think all the Brazilian teams, at least bringing one player from Challengers or an up and coming player is important, because I was looking at some of these changes and starting to think, man, like they're just recycling talent. Like these are various different teams. This core is like finally just meshing together or something like that, which I feel like MW is doing a little bit with Liatzi. I'm not sure if they actually went through with Liatzi or not, but either way, like just old Havon Liberty stuff, the MW, like various cores has been like trying to get integrated all over the place. I'm finally happy that like they're not all the same all the time, and that they're picking up and coming talent. Like that's very important in my mind, because it looked like everybody was just going to get cycled. It's just going to be like, okay, we're going to trade this to that, and we're going to have the same players, kind of like what happened in NA for a long time in CS, like just the same old talent getting recycled, and it's not fully that, so that's good.
I guess if a team, like for example, if Cloud9 just completely collapses, if this project with them like just completely blows up, then maybe MIBR have some chances of not finishing over towards the bottom. But remember, LCQ isn't even a thing next year, right? Like the schedule does not have that in place. So if you're towards the bottom, it doesn't really matter whether you're in 11th or whether you're in 10th or something. If you miss out on being able to, you know, perform throughout the season and get into big events and qualify towards champions, then you're in a rough spot.
Yeah, not looking entirely, not looking entirely promising, especially in a region where I think overall most of the teams are making some pretty good moves. I think there's a lot more teams making good moves than bad moves, at least from what I've seen so far, both confirmed and speculated. But of course, the speculated ones, you know, could turn on their head and they could be terrible moves. But at least as it stands right now, I feel like the region is heading in a solid direction. Can that be said for Cloud9, though? This roster has whelmed the masses. Everyone is whelmed. It's just that here it is. Here's the y'all feeling whelmed? Are you whelmed, Mimi?
I'm so whelmed right now. This roster will probably be pretty solid. Yep. I mean,
damn right.
It's everything we expected from the offseason. None of their moves are super surprising. You have kind of taken a risk on Oxy coming in as after his time in Tier 2, where he was doing pretty well throughout his time there, now up into the Tier 1 leagues. You get like the old duo, I guess like the old V1 core back with Whippy, with Vanity, with Coach Imi, who I believe they announced as well. And then you're keeping Jake and Seppa from the previous roster. I mean, it feels pretty solid. They just played in like the Ludwig show match thing, and I don't mean to say they're going to be the best team of all time, but they did win 13-11 over Moist X Shopify on Sunset without disruptions, and even with disruptions, they still won 2-0 on Split and Bind. So truly the #1 team in Americas.
Yeah.
They were playing Yoru, Reyna,
promising.
Phoenix, Gecko, Neon.
Hold on, Mimi, you're hyping him up. Josh, you starting to feel him a little bit more after that?
No.
They won 3 matches in a row, Josh.
No, I'm this smells like a team that's going to be I don't really know. Like I think a lot of people's expectations for them are going to be really low down, because even if you think that the squad looks okay, what you have to do at the beginning of the season is compare them to the other squads that have been assembled, and a lot of them look better on paper, right? So I think it's going to be very similar in terms of the expectations to the previous roster for C9, except without as many big name, like big players. I mean, for Leaf being the biggest one, right? In terms of Leaf's individual performance was top 2 in Americas last year. I think this roster will still do something, and maybe it'll end up overperforming and it'll look all right, but they are not going to be favorites in Americas unless a lot of people royally fuck up.
I need you to break down doing something. Can you expand
They'll get a win
on that?
They'll get a couple of wins. Like they'll be a competitive middle to bottom of the table team. I think. I really highly doubt that Americas is going to be super segmented. Because it was just so close last season. Even with the teams that didn't do so well, they still had some portions of the year where they were doing all right. So I don't think it's fair to write any of the teams off and just be like, they're just going to go 0-9. You know, even Crew, who went 0-9, it was quite unlikely that they did so because of the manner in which all of the maps ended up being really close, or at least a lot of them did. So I think it's super unlikely that any team shits the bed. I like the look of this team a little better than the MIBR team. Like, I can see what they're going for a bit. I feel like a lot of Vanity's rosters have looked like they have promising ideas, but not the depth or ability to capitalize when it really matters. So maybe they let some opportunities slip away or something due to their inexperience.
Yeah, I think this format in particular is like really tough for a team like this, because I could see them like being very, very randomly good at the beginning of the season, something like that. But I think like when you're talking about depth, when you're talking about consistency and longevity, the format is 2 teams qualify from Americas in the first event, and then 3 teams, and then 4 teams. So the longer you go on, the more opportunities you have. But I feel like that's the longer you go on with this team, the harder it's going to be for them to actually continue to achieve top 4 performances, where I think they can do that kind of early when everybody's still trying to find their footing. Because I think Vanity's teams have been fantastic right out of the gate almost every single time. But they have a problem with longevity.
Yeah. And I think that was also obviously true of Cloud9 that we just saw this season. That was a big issue. And I think losing a lot of those big pieces that I think were pushing the team over the line was like Zelsis's leadership and what he added there with like his relationship with the newer players. You had just the insanity that was Leaf the entire time. I feel like a lot of the pieces that I was looking at as like the biggest piece of success for Cloud9 have kind of disappeared. And now it's honestly back to kind of how I felt about them about the beginning of the year. It's not quite the same where it's like, oh, what the hell are they doing? This is insanity. It's just like, you know, they have some solid pieces here that have built solid rosters before, but have never really proven more than just like doing fine, being a mid-table team. So I think the expectation should be that they're a mid-table team that can get wins over the better squads, but isn't going to be like a top 4 team, most likely. So
I think even mid-table, it might be overestimating things a bit here. Like, I think a mid-table team, if you're like 7th, you're probably still counted as a mid-table team, right?
I mean, I would say like with 11 teams, like 7 through 5 is probably mid-table.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could even extend that down to 8th. Like maybe they would be hanging somewhere around there. But I mean, you look at the other teams that are being assembled in Americas, and they they look like they're probably going to be around.
I mean,
the
it's
bottom
like a
four.
team that'll be like cool if they make playoffs, but probably loses in like the first round of playoffs as they do. It's kind of my expectation.
And if they don't, if they actually end up performing, that's going to be fantastic for individuals that we don't expect as much of. Like, for example, everybody in their nan is down on Whippy at the moment. But he has various, well, I say at various times, at one specific time in the past, in like, what was it, late 2021 or something? I can't even remember exactly when it was. He looked like one of the best Sentinels in North America back when North America didn't really have very many good Sentinel players. If he can find something and Jake continues to develop and Zeppa continues playing at a really good level and Oxy comes into his own, there's chances for this team to really surprise in a positive manner. Mostly, though, when I look at this roster, I'm just confused what the difference was between what MCE wanted for this team and what they've ended up getting. Like, that is my big question when I look at this. When you had, like, Screwface potentially coming in and being an IGL for a team, maybe that would have ended up being as promising, more promising. I don't know. It's hard to know.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wanted to just ask that question. You know, theoretically, if, you know, it's been reported, whatever, that you know, Cloud9 are not spending a lot of money this year on their team, and originally they were going with MC, making the budget team of a bunch of upcoming players, some of the people from the EG reserve roster, and if I remember correctly, it was like Screwface, Oxy, BCJ. I think Nature was rumored. I can't remember the fifth person. But would you have been more interested in seeing that roster under the leadership of the MCE coach, or this roster that they've opted to go with instead?
I mean, I feel like I just have more faith in like MCE and his decisions in like player development and such. I feel like it's just been so many times that he's proved that ability to put together rosters that can build up to success with Guard, with Cloud9, etc. But I mean, Emi is a coach who, I don't know, I can't really speak to. We haven't seen him on a tier 1 team since V1. Obviously, he was competing in challengers and was doing well with the team and has history with these players. But like you guys were mentioning, with like the history of vanity-led teams and stuff, it's almost always this kind of idea of, okay, they come up, they start really strong, it looks like a promising roster, but tends to not really make it at the final yard. And I feel like kind of concerned that will just be what could happen again with this team. To me, it feels like very similar to start of last year, where it's like whole new, really surprising, honestly pretty weird roster moves. But this time I don't see the like people who are going to push it over the line. Last time, even when everyone was Doomy, it's like, okay, Leaf is like one of the best players in our region. You have MC who's done this before with other teams. You have like all those resources that are really good. And you also still had that core 3 players together. This time it's kind of just been stripped down to just Zeppa and Jake from the old roster, and then everything else is being built up new. It just feels like there's so much more, or so much less likelihood, I should say, of that kind of same miracle happening again.
I mean, remember that one of the biggest reasons we were down on that previous roster was not because the roster itself was bad. It's because they made those moves with like 2 weeks before the season began. Like, that was the biggest thing, was like, they're not even going to get their feet underneath them for the first like 3 or 4 weeks or something. And they had a terrible strength of schedule too. They just ended up way outperforming what we expected really quickly. I really like what Imi did a while back on the version 1 roster that had, you know, Xander and Celsius and those kind of folks playing together, but I think I would trust MCE more in terms of like scouting and building together people, because he's just done it so much in the past. I think this is going to be a really big test, because when you're working with an org like Cloud9 where they don't want to spend very much, you need to be able to create like outsized results. And an outsized result here might just be middle of the pack, but that you're getting measured against like the quality of the roster that your budget was like able to assemble.
Yeah, I would be pretty concerned here too, though, in terms of like Vanity signing onto this team after getting screwed from Cloud9 in the first place. Like, knowing that this team, and having experience with them in the past, knowing that they're willing to make changes in the middle of the season or right before the season, sort of thing, because then you put that external pressure on yourself to have to perform at the beginning. And we've seen that they can switch things up. Like, if they don't make some goal that they want, or money isn't exactly how they want, they're gonna change things. And I think the rumors, the fact that MC was on our show like a week before, not even like talking about trials, and with you, Wyatt, as well, and all of a sudden just disappears. Like you could see some of the stuff that like the fallout from the EG. I talked about this a lot the last time I mentioned the EG stuff, but like the fallout with the EG stuff is everywhere. Every team is getting affected by it because they were like, oh, we were about to be able to get Screwface. Okay, now we can't because EG wants to sell the rest of their players and they need Screwface to IGL. Like that sort of thing is everywhere. So who knows what 100 Thieves is doing? Who knows what all these other places? But Cloud9 is now stuck with, not stuck, but they've committed to this roster, and I don't necessarily know if that was their intended vision in the first place.
Yeah,
You know, it's such a weird org.
What was that?
They're just a weird org. They've never really been able to build up a fan base recently because they feel like they don't know what they want. They just put together a roster and like shove it into the competition, and then there's no longevity, there's no fan building, there's no like star players. Still, it's really odd.
I mean, I feel like a lot of that is like just kind of a problem in Valorant as a whole. I feel like very few orgs, maybe besides like Sentinels, have like a consistent like long-term brand because the players just get cycled so constantly. Orgs are like in and out of relevance. I think that's going to be really important for like the future of the partnership system, for orgs to start to build that consistency and actually have like players associated with their brand and stuff to be able to build up that fandom. Because I feel like pretty much, I mean, Sentinels, does anyone else really, I suppose, allowed to an extent, but even there now, like,
Oh, I got one.
really
I got
moving
one,
apart.
And oh baby, here comes a segue because I'm talking Zeta Division. You want consistent players? You want fan base? Zeta Division, baby.
But maybe a little less consistent. Like maybe you
What are you
could,
talking about? They've had the
you
same
could make some
roster for like
changes.
5 years.
And they
No,
haven't really done
Mimi's asking
much.
for them to be less consistent. Please make changes.
Oh,
Please.
well, that's what they're
I
doing.
beg.
Exactly. That's what's happening. And that's bringing a smile to my face. I like the decisions here that they're making, which is that TenZ and Crow will no longer be on the starting roster. Crow is going to be moving to the coach position. TenZ is going to be a content creator for Zeta. Hey, that all sounds great to me. Music to my ears, motherfuckers. And I am glad to hear that. And once again, I'm here to tell you, I don't know who they should get for these last 2 slots, but I don't think it matters. Like, just find some people off the street in Zeta Division are going to be crazy, dude. I'm hyped for this. You get Laz, you get Depp, you get Sugar, and then you just get, like, I don't know, sign... who's available in North America? They can fly out. I don't know. I mean,
Wasn't Aspas learning Japanese?
They could have Ball IGL. They could have, I don't know. Who's another IGL?
I can do the train voices from Japan. I like have those are stuck in my head. I think I'm ready to come. Kaihi Makahari. Kaihi Makahari.
That's not going to be
Line
helpful.
train bound for
Not particularly.
Soga.
Not a lot of
That's
assistance.
really unhelpful.
I tried.
Okay, I want to do a little heat check, excitement check. Is everyone excited about this like I am? Mimi, excitement levels checking in.
Imagine a stove, 4 burners. Back right, that's where we are, simmering. Could be cool. I think removing TenZ, good move. Maybe some new coaching, new direction. Could be cool. It's still Zeta Division. I still think they'll probably be mid. But
Well, they have new
maybe it'll
coaching.
be a
It's
little better.
Crow, which I like
Yeah.
that. Knows the
Yeah, I mean,
players,
it's fine.
knows the team. I mean, it's not like he was. Okay, so okay, hold on.
He was a
Let me
former
choose my
IGL for
words
this team.
carefully.
He was. He was.
former
That's
IGL.
true.
When
Yeah,
they did
that's
the
what I was
Reykjavik
trying-
run, I think it's good.
His individual gameplay wasn't up to the level of where Zeta Division could be, but that doesn't mean he's could IGL, knows the game, knows the
I
team,
mean, like when they were
knows the players.
changing their style at Reykjavik and went on their crazy run, like a lot of that was Crow. I think it could be good ideas. I think it's a new direction that the team has desperately needed for a long time. But we don't know who's going to replace TenZ. We don't know if they're going to keep trolling in the same way. That's why it's on the back burner for now. It could move up. We could boil. It's possible.
I like it. I feel like Crow is very true to his name. He's smart like a crow, but he doesn't have opposable thumbs and like fingers and doesn't shoot very well like a crow. So I think this is the perfect move, putting him into a coaching slot. And I think that TenZ as well, I think he was so horrendously inflexible, or rather poor at the things that he did try, that he had to be moved off the roster. I think there's like 2 steps to making roster moves, right? You have to remove the correct people, and then you have to find the correct people to replace them. And I think they've absolutely made the correct moves in terms of taking people out of the team. However, as is the case with all of us here, we just no clue who they should try to replace.
No.
Flynn's spreadsheet is indicating a Hero Ron, who is a Sentinel player from like Fennel.
Yep.
I don't know.
I don't know
Pacific
either.
frauds, you guys suck. Maybe make a Plat Chat podcast for Pacific with people who actually talk about Pacific and watch the games.
You're watching all of the challenges in EMEA and Americas, are you?
I wasn't me. I didn't say anything, bro. What do you mean? It wasn't me.
None of us know most of the players in
I will
tier,
say,
like,
if you're in
2
the
and 3.
comments, if you're a big Pacific super fan, you can lease the Plat Chat brand for $1 million an episode.
Ooh.
That's a
You can
lot
do
of
it.
money.
Are we gonna finally
That's a
make
good
money?
offer. That's a low ball, if anything. That's a great offer. I would do
Finally
that if
making
I
money.
was going to start a Pacific podcast.
All
wouldn't
I'm
listen
saying
to
is
them
I'm excited
anyways.
for this roster that I just listen. I'm just gonna wait
Dude, I'm
and see
excited
what they do, and then whatever they do. Dude, Huron from Fennel, love that guy. Great player. Never watched him, and I'm happy that Zeta are signing him. And whoever they get for the 5th, once again, I will be happy. The Zeta Division next year, they're going off. I'm gonna
Guys,
tell you
he
that
was in episode 1
right now.
Radiant. He's 18 years old. What's not to love? He's ready to rock. He's ready to roll. He has Twitch, YouTube, and you can DM something in Japanese. I don't know. That sounds awesome to me, quite frankly. And on top of that, you know what? Zeta Division, they're just smart. They kept the same roster for 50 years so that when they eventually made a roster move, everyone would freak out. Holy shit, we changed our coach in 1 player. It's the biggest move in Zeta history. Japanese Valorant is upending the scene. It's fucking insane. We don't even know what the new 5th is, but it's
I
going
don't
to be pretty cool.
I genuinely, I'm kind of joking around, but I'm this serious.
No, I'm with you, Wyatt.
I don't give one fuck who their last 2 players are. Any 2 pro players, I swear to God, this team, they're bubbling. They're bubbling. They're bubbling. They're bubbling. They're about to go over the pot. Fucking kaboom. Any 2 players. I'm telling you, they're going to be sick this year. I'm on the Zeta hype train. Depp was awesome. He was fucking awesome this year. Really stepped it up. Laz has always been the GOAT. Sugar Zero, you know, he was pretty okay. It wasn't amazing this year. He was better the previous year. That's fine. Resurgence incoming. Based on, I don't know, hope.
Dude, it's not a
But-
guarantee, but you're right. This is fucking good. They should have done these changes like last year. And especially they should have done this at the beginning of the offseason. I don't understand why they're like, yeah, by the way, anybody can buy our team. Any of these players. Anybody
That is
you
super
want,
weird.
You want fucking players? And then they're like, okay, let's just do the regular thing that we should have done in the
Should've
first
done.
place. Because who knows? They could have gotten some of the KR players, something like that. Like, I don't know. They used to be a fucking mixed team anyways. This is good. Good stuff.
They made LCQ, or rather won LCQ and
Yeah,
made
they won
champions with this last roster.
Yes.
That, hey guys,
Shocking.
that's crazy. I swear to God, any 2 get some Australian players. I don't just get buy Zelsis out from Sentinels. They've got options. They listen. Open the fucking wallet and start spending. All right. Speaking of open wallets, which is a crazy segue. But speaking of open wallets, let's talk about Bleed.
The perfect segue.
That's awesome.
let's talk about Bleed because they signed Yay, and are they gonna dominate the Pacific region, Josh?
This Bleed team's pretty decent, but I think dominate Pacific might be a bit too strong. But I feel like Ye's a weird replacement for the players that Bleed have lost when ascending. But if they can craft a system that works well around him and the meta doesn't completely not screw him over, but like he's going to have to make adjustments, and I'm sure that he's conscious of the way in which the meta's developing. In order to keep ahead of it, keep abreast of it. Remember that he's had like a year out of competition, basically. He only played something like, what was it, like 5 matches or something with DSG? It wasn't a lot.
I think it was more than that. Hold on, I'll pull up the data.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There was also
okay.
challengers with DSG. It's not the same caliber as like competing in one of the international leagues.
No, it's actually really difficult to jump back into tier 1 level competition if you've been taking some level of like a break, or you haven't constantly been keeping up. Just to give an example, think about the way in which, you know, metas develop in terms of like different pieces of utility. Like if you're playing against tier 2 teams that don't use a specific, I don't know, recon dart lineup or something, and you get caught by it in your first match because you're just not as used to it and haven't been scrimming against it all the time, you're going to look like an idiot. You're just going to get caught out by like little things like that constantly if you haven't been keeping up with the scrim meta. But I feel like I like this team. They were getting a bit of shit for not trialing players, but I think that's perfectly fine. If you're trying to make like an international roster, you've just got to take punts sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this roster, I don't think they're going to be like top 2 Pacific. I don't see them making it to like the early Masters tournaments where slots are super limited. But I think this is something that has a lot of potential with more time to develop. The core of Bleed is good. They won Ascension. I think they looked pretty good while doing so. I think Crazy Guy and Scary are both really strong talents, in particular from the guys that are left from that Ascension team. And then you get Yay, and it's a risk, right? I don't think this is a roster that's going to come out the gate swinging and like shock everyone with how good they are. But it's another team that, like, with time, with a bit of place to develop, I could see this squad being at like a Masters 2, and being at a point where they can make it into that upper side of Pacific by that point. Because honestly, there's so much up in the air in Pacific right now. Like, even if you like look at the spreadsheet, it's the region that we know like the least about for what all the rosters are going to be. And I think a lot of teams look like they're making some weird moves. So I think there's a lot of space for upward mobility for this team.
Yep. Like I said last week, it's kind of a risk for Ye in my mind. When he's somebody whose reputation is kind of getting dragged a little bit over the last week with the clip coming out. I don't know if you guys saw that, the focus on your own bomb site thing. But like, yeah,
what a shit thing to tweet out though. It's like fucking 5 seconds of someone getting mad in the game.
Nobody should take that shit seriously at all, because number one, they were 0-9, they lost every single game. That was the last game, last chance to like stay in challengers, when nobody on that team even thought that was something that they would do, even if they won.
But it does give a bit of context to like why Steel and Gangster, I think it was, were like tweeting things back and forth to each other after that team lost or exploded or whatever the hell.
I mean, it was a shit show. Like, I feel like that was obvious even from the outside.
But even if it wasn't, shit like that happens, man. You watch some fucking NRG comms videos, and it's literally in the videos sometimes. It's like some toxic shit that goes down.
Dude, I got an ace playing on Lotus in Premiere, and Arton was mad at me for not getting on the spike.
I mean, yeah, that was funny.
We're in a 3v5.
Dude, I was already tilted, man. My teammate knocked over the fucking power to all the computers.
Dude, who the fuck would do that? That's crazy.
I'm sorry, Josh. Crazy. I can't give a shit about your ace because you didn't win the round, but all good.
Yeah.
How it is.
That's awesome. Can we
Sometimes
talk about,
teams are dysfunctional.
That's true. That's true. We know a lot about that. But Bren tweeted this out, and I think it's so funny as well that Ye, like 3 months ago, is tweeting like, "Oh, I just want to play at tier 1. $5 is all I need. League minimum. I'm just a little gamer, and I want to play tier 1 gameplay." And now he's like fucking hunting the gigabag. I'm moving to Korea. I'm making $1 million a month. It's my fucking time to become a robber baron. Which is honestly pretty base. Good for you, Ye. Get the bag.
To be fair, though, this is a time when America sellers are drying up like fucking crazy.
Honestly, I'm going to float this, and I would like to hear your thoughts. Is it that he was seeking the huge bag, or was it that the teams in America and Europe just weren't really super keen on picking him up? And, you know, maybe to some extent with that as well, he is a player that will demand a higher, I mean, certainly like higher than league minimum, right? But obviously you don't know, but does anyone else feel like there just wasn't a ton of interest in signing him? And Bleed are just an org that are ready to take a crazy risk, something to draw eyeballs, get attention, and go for it on a crazy move?
The funniest thing is, of all the teams in Americas that actually were in a position to give Ye an offer, about the only one that makes sense is C9. It's like getting him to come back to C9 for like, I don't know, a fifth, a seventh, or whatever of his original salary. And I don't know whether Ye was really serious about taking minimum as well. I know we said it at the time, but his agent must have just been boiling. Like they're just having a lovely time, you know, scrolling through Twitter, and then they see that and they're like, "Oh, you're willing to do what?"
Because I mean, yeah, because realistically though, like if you're looking at all the Americas teams, the duelists that are around, like Sentinels have Zek and 100 Thieves have Cryo, Demon 1. I mean, I guess NRG are looking for somebody. You know, Loud, Furia, MIBR, they're all set with Brazilian duelists. Lev have Ospas, Crew has Kesnet.
Well, I mean,
I guess G2 had an opening, but like realistically, what are there, like 2 teams that maybe could have floated him an offer, and there just wasn't really interest from them, I suppose, or whatever may have happened, not happened.
I mean,
there.
that was my theory for sure. But like thinking about it a little more deeply too, like right now, some of these teams are in flux. Like you don't know how much was out there for Americas, like you're saying. It looks to be like only 2, but down the line, EG might not have Demon 1, for example. Like,
yeah,
you know, like there could be some stuff that gets blown up. EG, he might go to a different team, and that will create another hole somewhere else because he'll replace somebody. I don't know. There's a number of things that like maybe on the other side too. You have maybe not being interested in messing around in the Americas that much with the.
There's also EMEA.
Like, there is EMEA. Yeah.
No, there isn't. I don't believe in it. There's only America.
EMEA can't hurt you if you don't believe it's real.
Yeah. It's like Grinch.
I mean, but compare EMEA salaries to what like some of these specific teams might be able to, especially Bleed might be able to offer. It might not even be a starting.
But I think this Bleed team is going to do very well. I think that the underrated component of this team is, to me, when I was watching them play in Ascension, they were just kind of skilling it. Like, they didn't actually look like they were, or rather, I should put it like this. They looked like they had a long way to go in terms of refining their playbook, coordination, all of that kind of stuff to grow even further and get even better. And I know that they've then made 2 roster moves on top of that. But I think that again offers them more opportunity to just continue doing that. They were individually outplaying a lot of people in Pacific Ascension and like that, you know, that scene that they were in. Crazy Guy's really good whilst IGLing. Scary's the best player on the team. They haven't lost him. And I think assuming that Ye has worked on his agent pool, I don't see a reason why they couldn't be extremely competitive within frankly a Pacific region that doesn't look like anyone's really making that many waves of like who's making a roster that's trying to compete for the very top that wasn't last year. I don't really think that it looks like there is anybody.
No one.
There's a lot of hype for
competing.
If Wyatt's to be believed, the 2 mystery players for Zeta Division.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Zeta look a little better, but that's still not going to be some kind of like super team, is it? It's still going to be, you know, somewhere around that kind of level. I think Bleed have great chances of making top 3.
Yep. I mean, I feel like they're the only team that's actually taken a risk, has made like a major change in the offseason, at least that we know of. Still, a lot is still unknown, but everyone else is just like, I look at it and it's just, meh, that's cool.
Wait till you hear about what DRX is doing.
Dude, wait until you hear about Detonation. Focus me. They're going to make a super team.
They're going to go from 11th place to 10th place.
Yeah, looking at it, Pacific, they're taking their sweet time with these rosters. They really are. There's nothing going on with Detonation, nothing going on with Talon.
I think
Gen.G kind of
like
just
Pacific,
woke up from their slumber.
Yeah, in a region like Pacific, I don't really think there's as much movement in the star power as America. So I think like you and EU in some cases too with cNed and Sayf. But like I think you have to take more of your time because you just have to trial a bunch of these players. And that's probably why like there's a lot unknown right now. It's just trials after trials after trials because it's mostly trying to find if there's anybody from challengers, if there's anybody in your region that is good enough to, you know, compete and actually focus on making like a national roster or something like that. Because like for Talon, for example, I don't know what no information with them whatsoever. The spreadsheet says like, oh, they're looking to make an international roster, but that wasn't news for a while. So maybe they were trying to try out some of the what are they, Thai teams? I don't know.
Which, by the way, is a nightmare. Like, Ominous was talking about this a little bit. I think it was Ominous anyway. Was talking about the fact that if you are trying to actually build an international team for Pacific, one that speaks English and has people from all over the place. How do you trial them? Like, what? Are you going to trial them on 200 ping and try and get an idea of who's good? If you're picking up people that have got match experience at a high level before, you can lean on what you see in the VODs more so than trials. You don't always have to trial everybody.
Well, especially with star players is what I'm saying. Like for Ye, I think that obviously makes sense. You're not gonna trial Ye, right? Like I think it's really funny that people thought that was a thing anyways for a team like Bleed. No, you're not gonna trial Ye across everywhere unless he wants to see how the team is before committing to them. But
yeah,
I think that's a crazy topic.
Pacific is like a lot of teams making small upgrades across the board. Like Zeta might make a pretty decent upgrade depending on who they get. You've got like T1 making a couple of like slightly riskier moves, you could argue, but I think that they're bringing in some good talent to that team. RRQ looking like they're bringing in a bit more firepower. Then, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it. Like those teams all just taking smaller incremental steps while some of the others rebuild, but are not really looking like they're rebuilding super teams. So I think that's good for Bleed. They can come in and really have like a big performance year one.
Yeah.
I also think, by the way, the thing you were talking about, Josh, with the way that they were playing, like just kind of skilling people through challengers, is good to bring EA into, because that's somebody who needs to rebuild his confidence and focus on kind of his own thing. And I honestly think that's probably some of his best plays when he is kind of left independent in some instances. So being able to just kind of have some structure, but kind of roam and just rely a lot on your individual decision making and skill is good. So building structure upon that is where I want to see the team go after they start off.
I am excited for watching this team, no matter what happens. But it does seem like they'll at least I also feel they'll be at the top of the table. I think top 3 is pretty reasonable, and no matter what, they're going to be fun to watch. We haven't done it in a while, and I think maybe one of them was with Ye, I forget, but we've got to guess that player. We haven't done a guess that player in a whole long while, and we're busting it out. Here it comes.
Do you want to test this incredible feature that I'll guess that player, guess, you gotta guess who that player is. That. Oh my goodness, it's quite long. Guess that player.
It's the new season 2 theme. I think the season 1 theme from Connor was a little better, but we won't hold that against you. So
budget.
We have Kurt has been toiling away. He's been coding for 410 hours straight, damn near, over the last couple weeks in the laboratory. I've been bringing him, various food and treats to fuel him, Red Bull from the garage, and he's just been nonstop coding, figuring out this new system for Guess That Player, in which you can see, for the audio listeners and the video watchers, you can see the little yellow line below Mimi or Bala, because we can now input our own text and Kurt will make it pop up. And then so when we have our guess, we lock it in by entering it with a submitting text, and then you'll see on screen that it'll be yellow. That means someone locked in their answer, and then at the end, we reveal them all. New technology, no one can stop us, no one is potting like us. And let's get to this shit. Yay, on the left. Josh made these, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to walk you through them? I want to give some...
Yep. Josh, let's take a stroll through Devon.
Okay, let's take a stroll. So this is Ye versus another player that played at the Tier 1 level. So this is Ye versus Tier 1 duelist player.
Scream.
And I've picked out... So I'm starting you off with some stats that are very similar. I mean... For the audio listeners, this is 140 damage per round for Ye, 143 for the question mark player. 0.75 KPR for Ye, 0.77. So slightly higher production, but not a huge amount.
Well, then we can read, bro. We got 2 minutes on the clock.
The audio listeners can't read, Paula.
Dude,
think of the video watchers.
Hey guys, this is a podcast. Josh, you're doing great.
Thank you. Are there any guesses, or do you guys want to see the next one?
Guessing.
I'm guessing ball at TW.
I honestly,
At the tier 1 level, it's a tier 1 player.
Submitted.
I have
I
an
wanna see another.
inkling, but I think I need. Let me see one more.
Okay. So this is opening duel win rate. Again,
mine's out
the
the
question mark player is only a little bit higher, but interestingly, Ye still with a positive opening duel win rate across his time with DSG. And
Is this
a
from
reminder,
any league?
this is from regular season only. So this is not including Masters events, not including playoffs or stuff like that. But again, it's regular season of tier 2 versus regular season of tier 1.
And it's a duelist.
It's a duelist player. Yes, I'm comparing
Are you
somewhat
talking about
like
someone
to
who plays
like.
only duelist, or someone who like plays some other agents too?
They're a duelist main. They're
Okay,
a duelist
okay,
main.
I'm just
Even
saying,
Ye played like a
Jesus.
map of Sage.
It's just I'm okay. I'm.
Oh, give me another one. Give me that yellow, the
I'm
yellow
asking
lock.
a
I don't know.
question.
It's another.
Okay, cast.
Not
Okay,
cast, man. What is
66%
that?
for Ye, 77, way higher. So to read into it a
They
little
must be
here.
a much better player.
No, not a way better player, but they must not be losing as much as DSG were, at least.
10 seconds. Y'all are slow, man. I got this right off the rip. Come on.
Oh wait, there's 10 second. Wait,
Lot
there's a
of
Percentage
Run.
of kills on defense. Ye, 46% gets most of his kills on attack. This
locking it
mystery
in.
player
I
gets
know this is wrong.
55% of their kills on defense side.
This is wrong. I didn't realize there was a time limit, even though it was on screen flashing at me.
Can we unveil them one by one, or how does this work, Kurt?
Yeah, I can unveil them one by one.
Let's
All
start
right,
with Paul.
let's go for Arton first because he looked it in first. All right, Arton believes it is Demon 1, so barely
There's no
higher
way.
stats than Ye.
You said regular season.
Yeah, regular season. Yeah. Okay.
There's no.
Okay.
If it's Demon 1, I'm walking over to our router and taking it out of the wall.
Okay. Mimi, I think, was second.
Yeah. I think I just got baited by the last one and put TenZ. I don't think TenZ's stats were this high during the regular season.
You would
Definitely
be correct
didn't have
on
an
that.
opening dual win
Yeah,
rate of
Yeah,
I
of
learned it from
50%.
Josh's
30%.
video that
This is cap.
Josh's
Yeah.
video taught me that TenZ doesn't
My
get
my
first
other
kills.
guess was Cryo with like the heavy defense stuff, but
Well, let's see what Wyatt went for.
Mine is just wrong.
Pakulia had even worse stats than TenZ.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like he's probably even.
you guys have
worse
very
stats.
much gone for the like, Ye has terrible stats. Ye's stats weren't that bad. It's like,
no, those are
the
just
thing is, he
like-
was playing against tier 2.
Yeah, I mean, KPR, his KPR ADR is really good already. Like
That
guys-
KPR is not for duelist.
Yeah,
It's not amazing.
fine.
It's
it's
like
fine.
that's like absolutely you're fine.
No,
Yes,
on
it's
an
fine.
overall season, no, it's not. It's a decent, probably
There's no
good
fucking
KPR.
way. I don't
Okay.
believe that. I don't. I simply
Okay.
don't believe that. There's no way. I don't
The
believe that.
player,
Kurt, bring up all of the stats of all time.
Show me every number.
all right, Kurt, would you mind revealing who the player was? The
was
most similar
Cryo.
player was
Yeah.
Cryo.
Oh.
This,
When you said
this was
crowd for the defense, I was like, yeah, that's it.
This was the most similar player that I found in a tier 1 versus tier 2 setting to like the stats that Ye has. So a lot of the stats were super similar between Ye and Cryo, which is interesting because they were last year as well.
Yeah.
When they were playing on Light Chamber, Ye was just significantly better, but had a similar playstyle.
They're actually the same guy. They
That's
like just
crazy.
move back and forth really quickly.
We literally always compare them when we think about like a passive op like star player. It's always like, oh yeah, Ye, and then you're like, who's like Ye? It's always Cryo. It's the same thing. It's so strange.
But I mean, specifically the defense side is like such a thing with Cryo that I thought that would give it away a little bit, to be honest. But we only had like 5 seconds because I beefed the timing a little
I'll
bit.
give you guys 3 minutes next time. That was a little. I jumped the gun there. All right, let's go to the next one.
Should we move on to the next one? I've got 3 of these suckers.
Ooh.
Okay, this is for the audio listeners. This is Crashies during the 2023 regular season. It's another tier 1 player that normally plays Initiator that I'm comparing them against. Obviously, Crashies played like some of stuff off Initiator as well, but this is Sky v Sky specifically here, right? So this is their Sky stats versus the other person's Sky stats. So 208 rounds on Sky versus 196. So they both played quite a lot of Sky during the regular season this year. And Crashies had a better KPR, which is 0.71 versus 0.66, which is quite low, 0.66.
These are regular season stats.
Yes, regular 2023 season.
They don't get counts, but they do play Sky. Curious.
I mean, you don't have too much to go for yet. But you just know that they played about as much as Crashies did.
Yep. Let's get the next. This is not enough.
All right. Assists per round. Wait, that should not say that should not say one. Okay,
Holy shit.
let me pull up what the figure was.
That's
I
what
think
you
it was
put. That's what you put
0.5.
in the document.
Stop
Josh.
the timer.
Did I really? Okay,
Yeah.
I think it was. No, it says 0.51.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
must have
yeah.
copied it
So-
wrong. My bad.
Okay, so it says it's supposed to say 0.51, which is still a hell of a lot of assists per round, but it's not one assist per round. That would be mental.
My bad.
Okay, it's definitely not Ethan. Nobody put Ethan. It's definitely not.
Why? Because he gets more?
Yes.
He definitely
Than
gets more
0.36?
assists.
Yeah, definitely.
He
Even
gets
when they
more
were
assists per round.
But I do think like that direction of a player, because Ethan didn't play Sky on every map, so I think fewer rounds is good there. It's not somebody like Kawanzine. He played way more. I can't think of anybody else who would have like in any other regions who would have this high round win. Oh my
Wyatt's
god.
locking it.
Ooh,
I've
Wyatt's
locked
going
it in.
for it.
This guy's crazy.
I already
Hey.
know who it is.
All right, should we
It's
unveil
so-
the next person?
Yeah, sure.
Obvious that it's Starzo.
So when these people played a head-to-head match against each other in the regular season, so already that's cutting things down to Americas, these are the agents they played.
I should have waited for that one.
Okay. Who did Crashies play?
There's no fucking
Every
way
other
that
team in
I was
America.
right with this information. If I
Oh my
resubmit, I
God.
get a point doc. Okay.
Oh wait, no. I thought Leaf for a second. That's so troll.
Keep the stats
these
up,
are-
bro.
These are normally initiator players, and these are the agents that they played in their head-to-head match.
the only agents.
Yep, these are the only agents they
What?
played in the
Double
head-to-head
Viper?
match. They didn't play Sky at all. They played Viper v Viper and Sova v Viper. Yes.
No, can't be him. It can't be him. This is
We might need more time on the clock here
Yeah,
as
bro.
well.
Yeah,
I-
I
okay.
don't know.
All right,
this is
here's the
crazy.
final one. Agents played total
7.
in the regular season. 4 for Crashies, 7 for the mystery player.
Look, I don't even. Who even played in Americas? I don't remember a single player except TenZ and Crashies.
Viper. I'm literally going
Viper.
through regular NRG season matches and like, not Leviathan.
No, it can't be 100
because that was 2-1.
Thieves.
There's no way it would have been Viper only for them. 100 Thieves? What? No.
No,
Bang.
because Bang never played Sky.
He didn't. He didn't play Viper 7 times. He's played
Cloud 9?
7 different agents.
Cloud
Cloud
9, it
9
could have
this
been Leaf or Zeppa, but neither of them played
No,
Viper
man,
enough. Can't be
no.
Cloud 9.
Bro,
MIBR?
fuck you, Josh. This sucks, man. I
Yeah.
hate you so much.
It's a good one as
You're
well.
just
You'll
making
really
me look
like it at the end.
stupid. Okay,
You'll
continue.
really like it.
Mimi.
I mean,
Keep
obviously,
going through
everybody in the
teams.
chat has already got it because
Yeah.
they're like, some people are looking it up, and then when one person says it, it triggers the reminders in everyone's brain. But
Dog.
I'm worried that I,
mean, yeah,
screwed
this
it
is
up
an-
somehow.
this is an
'cause of
easy
the
one to
stat
cheat
being
on.
wrong.
You can just look up their match.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
could,
so
you
easy.
could. But yeah, this is all accurate apart from assist per round is supposed to be 0.51 for Crashies, which Crashies had a nuts regular season. He performed so well. And he did play mostly Sky, but again, so did this player. How did
Man,
this
is
player
mine
play 200
actually
rounds of
correct?
Sky
Am
whilst
I
also playing
stupid?
6 other agents?
I think we should just do Wyatt.
No, mine is.
Can
There's
you,
no
can you
way.
just lock it in, for God's sake?
There's
Lock
no way
I don't
an
mine
know.
is
answer in.
I don't know. Where
Just
am I?
type
Who
anyone.
plays in
Lock one in.
America?
It's over.
Something.
I demand you
Howard
lock one in,
Hamlin.
Mimi. You got 5, 4.
Okay,
3,
I just put
2,
one. I know it's
1,
wrong.
0.
I know it's 100% wrong.
Okay, let's unveil Wyatt's first. Is this the one you changed? Can you tell me who you first went for?
It was MW. I didn't. No. This was my original one. I did
Yeah,
MW
yeah,
yeah.
after
Oh.
assist per round.
You could have changed it.
Okay,
I just couldn't
okay.
think of someone to change it to. I feel like that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
an
that's good.
okay guess based on the first 3. Just someone who plays Sky,
feel
but
like-
not all Sky.
Probably had higher KPR because he was fragging at some points.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
was
some
fragging.
Haven games where he fried. But yeah, not a bad guess. Arden, who are you going for?
Yeah, go ahead. I can't. My brain turned off, man. I just turned off. I can't think of any more matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was
Mimi.
also dreadful. I said County. County didn't play
I
Viper at
told
all,
you.
ever, I don't
told you it
think.
wasn't
So
County
I
for
know
the
it's wrong.
opener.
It's Sassy. Let's unveil who it was.
Oh.
It's Sassy.
It's funny because
I
I thought
forgot
about
he played so
Sassy.
much Sky.
I literally thought about Saucy in the very first two
Dude,
or whatever.
Sentinels doesn't count. They had like 15 teams
Yeah.
this season. How am I supposed to remember what
Bro,
team
he
played against?
when he played Viper.
He was playing Smokes for the first 3 weeks, if you
and then he
remember, because
rolled
Def
teams
was
to
playing
Initiator.
Initiator.
Oh my god, that is a good one. That's a
Oh,
little
they're
cheeky
like
one.
Sassy has had the weirdest year
Broke my
of all
brain.
time.
Yeah.
Let's go to
Ugh.
the next one, and I don't want to play it like a serious game. I want to play it in slightly differently because we've already seen Sassy's Sky. So this is comparing one of the other agents that Sassy plays, right? So this is another agent that Sassy played throughout this season.
He has 196. Oh, okay, got it. It's
So
Sassy
do you see what I
versus
mean?
Sassy.
Like,
yeah.
It's Sassy versus Sassy, but I'm not revealing the agent yet.
Okay.
So it's Sassy on the left playing
Silva.
Sky, and Sassy playing something on the right. So he only played 63 rounds of this, but his ACS was way higher. Let's bust through some of the others. Can you show me the blue?
Oh, I
I
didn't
already
even know we
bust- I already
started a new
busted.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
ADR 160 compared to 124.
We're already busting.
Like, must be Sassy's Brimstone.
I mean, if he's doing more damage per round, getting more ACS, it's because these are his duelist games. That's why.
Yes. Where he famously played Duelist in the regular season of
So
2023.
true.
Yeah, it's when he played Neon against MIBR.
Wait, this is the other. We're supposed to guess the other agent, right?
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
agent. The
Okay.
other agent.
Okay,
Let's do the yellow lock. KPR way higher as well. Like a I don't know, way higher than Cryo and Ye's KPR as well. These is like crazy stats.
I'm
Let's do the
locking.
red one as well. It looks like Mimi's locking in. So the red one, the win rate, 67% for Sky, 0% for this other agent.
If it was
they
the
played
Brimstone, I'm
63
gonna
rounds
freak
of.
out.
So for way better stats, but a 0% win rate. Let's have a look. So Sova, Arden said.
I'm also on the Sova train.
Sova
wow.
and Sova. Let's reveal what it was.
If it was Brimstone.
The button's not working.
Oh no.
Why
Oh,
isn't the button
shit.
working?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
You can
Oh,
verbally
shit.
reveal. Oh, I just pressed the
It
fucking
was-
nuke button. about
It
that.
was Sova. You're right. It was.
Yay.
It was
Dude, we're so
Sova.
smart. We're so smart, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
They didn't win a map. I think they went something like 0-3 or 0-4 this season playing with his Sova, and yet he individually performed just so much better on the Sova compared to the Sky.
Nice. Shout out to
Surprise,
Stacy.
surprise. Who would have guessed Saucy playing Sova is good?
Yeah, it was a bit surprising to me though, seeing how difficult he found it adapting to the Sky. But I think the first 3 weeks plus all the preseason scrims of playing Smokes probably didn't help.
Probably not.
Bro, maybe also not having an IGL didn't help either. Just maybe.
Good point.
A lot of interesting thoughts.
I just
Hopefully
watched
Sentinels
Saucy play
ponder
Sky.
that for next season.
In ranked, and it was pretty good. I stole a lot of things from him.
Nice. All right.
So.
Let's talk about Europe. Everyone's favorite region. Let's kick things off with cNed's
God, I love
foot
EMEA.
fetish. He's going to foot, evidently. Right? Officially? Rumored? Reported? Reported
It's a verbal
that
agreement.
cNed has verbally agreed to leave Navi and join foot. The first time in 3 years, in fact, that cNed will be playing with a Turkish team. So, hey, that's pretty cool. Are you guys excited about this? Do you think that he'll have a better performance with foot than he did with Navi? Will he be used in a more effective manner here?
No, I think he'll be used in a worse manner, actually. But I think that's good for him because it'll force him to expand his agent pool a little bit. I think this is good for both parties because Foot gets the the experience of cNed and the fragging power of cNed when he's able to play what he wants to play. But I think it's kind of inarguable that like Na'Vi are going to be able to shift their roles around to put cNed in better positions, or at least to like have better performances when maybe cNed isn't feeling as comfortable playing a certain style or playing a certain agent. I think he's going to be asked to do a lot more on this team, but I think that's going to be good for his long-term career. The fact that he's forced outside of his comfort zone a little more. And we saw him kind of being willing to step outside of his comfort zone at the end with Na'Vi too. He was playing like Killjoy and Fracture and stuff.
At the beginning, bro, he was playing Omen at lock-in on Lotus. Yeah. Like, way out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is good. I'm very excited because I want to see cNed take more of a like leadership role, more of somebody who I think really gets the game at a high level and not just a crazy star power guy who frags like crazy like he used to be on Ascend, and kind of what it felt like on Na'Vi. But it felt like he was really learning how to be a good teammate, how to do more for his team. And I think playing under Angel, I personally think he grew a lot on this team. I know he was a scapegoat for a lot as well, and like a reason why people are like, oh, that's why they have role issues, is cNed can't play Raze or whatever. But like, I genuinely think all of the stuff that you're talking about, Josh, he did improve this year compared to prior sprints. So yeah. I'm excited for this. I hope to see Foot and Turkey as a region actually do some damage on the national stage, and I think they can, because they were already like a top four team in EMEA all year.
Yeah, I think it'll also be cool to see cNed go back to a Turkish-speaking team. It's been like ages since he's been there, because it was Ascend and then it was Na'Vi. He's like always been on these international rosters for a really long time. So I think it'll be cool to take some of those learnings, go back. I mean, we talk a lot about how like Turkey's had kind of like a lack for a long time of like good IGLs, like people bringing in a lot more of like ideas from the international community, which I don't think is true anymore. And Foot is really the example of that being broken down. But I think getting cNed back, one of your absolute best players who's been exposed to so much playing on the world stage and has just shown his individual talent, could be really good for this team. Is kind of just like a refresher almost to have a guy like that into the roster, adding to the team. And also for him, I don't think it was ever an issue having to speak English on other rosters, but I imagine it is very comfortable getting to go back and play in your native tongue for part of the year, go back to living at home more so when they're not in Berlin. It really seems like a move that makes sense for him and gives a lot of potential to a team that was already stepping up and playing really, really well last year.
I think the only way this goes really badly is if they feel like they need to win by putting it... Well, what am I trying to explain here? That I think a lot of the value comes with cNed developing as a player over the course of this year on Foot. If instead they just tried to get short-term success by forcing him on Jet in every single map, because that's his agent, I think that's where it goes wrong for them. If they just pigeonhole him into that. And that's what I'm slightly concerned about, is that they just don't give cNed enough time to learn how to play other agents and other styles of duelist, and they're just like, well, fuck it, let's just put him back on Jet and win matches. And then they like scrape their way through and they make it into, you know, one of the Masters tournaments or make it into champs at the end of the year or something. And they haven't really taken advantage of the opportunity of making cNed a better player. They've just relied on what he already did well. That is my only concern, is that they just force him to be a permajet.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on like what the meta actually shapes up to be, because right now it's still kind of there's a lot of off-season stuff happening right now, and like game changers in both or in all regions, and you could kind of see like how teams are treating the jet nerfs and whatnot, but how the tier 1 teams decide is very important too. And I wonder, like, for example, because to me, I think cNed should be on op. Like there's no world where I don't see him playing the non-op role for any team, and I think that's where he's strongest. But you might need to see, if it's not Chamber and it's not Jet, you might need to see him being able to pick it up on other agents, which he was not doing on Na'Vi. He was not doing like Raze op, for example. He wasn't doing Omen op too often when he played that, and towards the end when he was playing KJ, it was coming out here and there. But like, you need to see him be that type of person who can flex onto different duelists, but also bring out the op, which Kiwi was actually quite good at last year. So maybe they'll be able to fit that in pretty nicely.
So just straight up comparison, this Foot roster with cNed and I think still rumored to be Yetuje, who's on Fireflux playing Sentinel. Those two in, Kiwi and Maj out. Is this roster an upgrade? Will they perform better with it? Wilkinson.
I'm inclined to say I think yes, over the long term. I think they probably will. I don't really know whether cNed's better than Kiwi for this team. Like, Kiwi really brought the Neon capability to this squad and gave them a different flavor to what's going on. And I think cNed genuinely does have a lot of development to do in terms of his flexibility. But I think if they can get him to where he's comfortable and they get ZETA really popping off, because that team was firing earlier on this year. And I got to admit, I don't know as much about him, but I know that there's a huge amount of talent in Turkey. I know that Mini talks about it all the time. If this guy's a really good talent that they've brought into the squad, then that move alone might not even matter whether or not they have Kiwi or cNed. They might just be able to make upgrades at other positions that end up making more of a difference. Yeah. I'm excited to watch them. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like a lot better than last year, but I think it's a good direction.
I think Yetujej is an upgrade over Maj for sure. I'm with you. I'm not sold on cNed being better than Kiwi in terms of like what Kiwi brought last year, but I think Yetujej is, and I think the experience of cNed, if he's able to tap into that for the team, and help out at a captain, I guess, who's IGLing for the team, and like, I don't know, Kiwi was also kind of an emotional leader on that team, so I don't know how exactly that dynamic is going to work, but to me it seems like it's a good direction at least, and I think cNed's ceiling is higher than Kiwi's.
Yeah, that was exactly the same thing I was going to say. I just think they have more room. This won't be instant success, but with time, I think this roster can do better. I think bringing in cNed's experience, bringing in just his raw skill as a player, if they can develop him with the team, then they're on the right direction, I think, for a team that has already seen big upward swings after last season. Yeah. And I feel I kind of have some faith in them moving in that right direction, focusing on development, because that's what they did last year. They didn't try and make any massive sweeping roster changes, really. They made some good ones at the start of the season, worked at it for a long time. It took a while for them to kind of push to that spot as a top team, but they defined their own style. They did unique stuff, but also implemented stuff from other teams. And well, at global events, I think they got a little predictable sometimes, didn't have quite the depth they needed to perform beyond that top 4 level. They got there over time, and that's why I have faith that they can do that again.
I mean, they were one of the only teams who did like the roster change mid-season and actually work out, because they had a 6-man that they were actually confident in out of captain. I misspoke earlier, by the way, Mr. Fallen, the IGL for that team. When I look at this team throughout the entire year, I'll go back to what I was talking about after Tokyo. I think they had a massive issue with the mental game throughout all of their group stages at the international events this year. And I think that's something that they need to fix. And I think cNed coming in is definitely somebody who can help with that significantly, because that's not a guy who goes, like, he doesn't really end up going cold. I mean, he has like slow starts or something like that, not great games, but it's not based off of like the momentum or anything like that. He's a guy who, if they're losing, can still just come out with crazy good rounds. Not that Kiwi couldn't, but it definitely felt like overall as a whole, if they were getting stomped, they're going to get stomped. And that was how it was.
Yeah. I also, beyond the roster moves that they've made, Krax needs to buy the Xbox Game Pass and unlock the rest of the agents. Because my dude being a perma KO player it's cool. It's inspirational. It really is. For all of the one tricks out there in the world. But playing KO Gecko is not really going to be conducive to long-term success. And he's actually cracked. At Champions, Krax was nuts in terms of his aim. I don't know what stats he ended up putting up, but he had a huge amount of big moments that saved them with some snappy aim. In their game against T1 is the one that I particularly remember. But I feel like they are constantly having to work around his agent pool, and I think that's going to be even more difficult if cNed also has some concerns about his agent pool as well. You have an off season, let's try and fix it a little bit. Let's at least broaden it by 1. Let's remove the Gecko and add the Sky or something.
Not too far off. Hopefully they can. Hopefully that can happen. Expand the agent pool by 1. Vitality also in Europe. All right. I've been hearing. I don't know anything about Europe. I can't even name more than one country in Europe.
I can't even name the capital city of Europe.
I need someone to explain to me and break down why there's so much hype about this roster and the moves that they've made in the offseason. Because I'm seeing GOAT talk. I'm seeing they went off talk. Someone break this down to me. What is going on here with
simple
Vitality?
answer is,
okay.
What the fuck is Vitality? I don't know. I've never been to France. I don't speak French. I don't care.
You do, though. You do speak
No,
French.
I don't. I don't speak any French whatsoever. Didn't learn it in high school, for the record. Kicks? Who's that guy? All I know is Air Jordan 97s or whatever the fuck. All I care about is Sayf. He was the fucking GOAT on
So
Liquid
close.
last year. And he's on a new team. And as we all know, a good star player being added to a roster automatically makes him good. That's why Bleed is the best team in the world, and Vitality's winning it all, baby.
Nice.
Okay.
Good
That didn't
analysis.
help. Baller, can you help me?
I can't. I think.
Who
I
has
think
the answers?
Yeah, not me.
I mean, I feel like the three pieces, there's two people we don't know really enough about, right? It's Runner and Kicks. And unless you've been following all of the 1-1 ties that Kicks got in towards the end of the tier 2 scene, or you're really big into the Macedonian
What is
scene.
happening in this fucking league?
Yeah, I mean,
please
it's
revamp fucking challengers in the NBA, man. I
It's
can't
so bad.
with this shit. It's
Okay,
so
okay, but-
bad.
But at the same time, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of talent in EMEA. And so some of the hype will be based on these guys actually being pretty decent, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm excited mostly about the three other players that they have. And it's not just Sayf. Dude, Destrian and Sender are very, very good players. I think that core of having those three in there, the firepower is extremely high. And you've got a few people that have played together before, an extremely vocal player in like a supportive position, helping a newer duelist player as well. Like the combo of Sayf and Runner, I'm extremely excited about because I feel like Sayf, especially with the interview that you recently did with Sean, was talking about how much he enjoys setting up other people for success, and having been a duelist that was hyper successful last year, I think is going to be able to take a player that's looking promising at the tier 2 level and turn them into something a lot better than they would be otherwise. And then you just always have the backing of Destrian and Sender there, who were, I mean, a Sender in particular was really fucking good. So I'm excited for this team, even without knowing too much about Kicks and Runner's individual stuff. And I'm sure some people that have dived more into them have even more reason to be interested.
All right, Josh.
Does that
you
help,
sold me.
Wyatt? There we
What?
go, cool. I said, does that help you?
I mean, that does help me. I don't understand why Kicks is tying every game. But outside of that,
Doc has best of twos.
you know, you got to start winning. As soon as he starts, listen, when Kicks gets a 2-0 win over the Unicorns of Love and they don't go 1-1, that's when I'll be sold on this new Vitality team.
But by the way,
Crazy.
Sayf used to play with Bonkar. Kicks used to play with Bonkar. Everything comes back to Bonkar. Okay.
Why did no one sign
tree.
Bolkar in the offseason? #1 prospect. He could have been like.
He's the coach for Oxygen.
He's the best player in the world. He's getting
Zeta
signed.
Division.
He's
Sign
getting signed again.
Bonkar. New IGL.
Bring him
I'm telling
back.
you, they got to do it. They just have to do it.
I am a bit concerned about who's going to IGL on this team, though. I don't know
Bonkar.
whether it's going to be safe.
Bone cold from the bench.
I mean,
He's gonna help Sewers it. He's got it.
Bone Cold's going to do an NBS back when they won Masters 1 with NBS calling from the bench because it was allowed in the rule book.
That was the best era of Valorant, when you just needed 5 players and you could just have a fucking IGL like fucking wired into the phone line. That's awesome. We need that more often. Imagine if you could just like hire Finesse as a call-in IGL for your team. Guys, 100 Thieves, we're struggling halfway through the season. Put him on the phone.
Dude, do you think Energy are going to get FNS back? Does anyone... I just want to float this really quick. Does anyone think that's possible? As we're at a standstill with that team?
Do you not think that Finesse literally saying that he wouldn't do that? I feel like he's a man of pride.
I'm just floating it. Guys, I'm making content here. I'm just trying to float something. Josh, what are you
I
doing?
don't think he'd do that.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I don't think it. Even if it
I'm
was a
asking
sensible decision,
questions and looking for answers. That's it. All right, that's all I'm doing. I'm fishing. All I'm doing is fishing for answers. There's so many questions. Like who's gonna be the IGL for? Everyone is asking who is gonna IGL Giants next year. We have the answer. It's Redgar. Redgar is IGLing for Giants next year. Josh, are you thrilled?
Fucking hell. I mean, I've said before that I would like Redgar to continue playing in the partnership system, but my God, it's got to look better than it did last year. And I don't understand how Redgar is. I don't know what the rest of Giants are doing with their roster. I haven't really heard too much about Giants making large moves. But if this is just a straight up 1-for-1 swap, I think you're going to get far worse player performances out of Redgar compared to Rhyme if we're looking at what he did this year, unless he massively levels up his own gameplay. I mean, he's had decent performances in the past, but Rhyme's supportive utility was way better than what Redgar was doing this year. And you're also getting a bit of a wonky IGLing style for a team that was previously playing an extremely structured, like Pipson calling antis that were working pretty effectively considering the skill disparity, I think, at Champions. I'm not confident. I don't think necessarily that Redgar's IGLing style fits with this team, although he did call in a very structured manner on the defense side back when they were with Gambit, so maybe he's fine with that.
I mean, overall,
I'm always worried about his attack
entirely.
side. Yeah, but his attack sides are always poo. They were even a worry on Gambit. They were just by far the best defensive team in the world.
Yeah. I mean, Giants looked good last year. If Redgar can take the silly meter right now, over here, crank it around about 360, then do another 360, and then land on modicum of silly. I don't know.
What kind of silly dial are you using? Where 360 degrees around and then 360 again changes anything?
It does. It just does. Okay.
Yeah, wait
it's
a second.
silly funny dial. It's a silly funny dial. I don't know what to say.
Break that down. The math does not add up.
Yes, it
at
does.
all.
She lives in the digital era, okay?
Yeah.
It's not just a rotary thing where it goes back to 1. It's increased. It's now actually 720.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's like a Nest thermostat where you spin it and it just goes like the digital dial goes silly going down.
Yeah, the silly at 0. We're in the digital age. Turn that fun meter down.
I mean, the Redgar should play with that attached to his fucking chest. That is exactly how he plays.
Yeah, this team, to me, the first thing that I think of is Redgar and Nuki. Can they work together? And I think the answer is yes. I think that these two guys would get along. I think they could. It won't be the same sort of thing that Sayf and Redgar were battling about, because I think they might think about the game similarly I think they might. But then you also have the Russian duo with Redgar and Cloud, which maybe is good. I maybe friends. Who knows what's going on there? I'm just speculating. And
everyone in Russia knows
good players.
each other.
They do. No, actually, they do. There's not many Russian players anymore in EMEA. Like everybody knows each other. That's how it works. Yeah, I don't care that much. I think Giants is still going to be good. Despite me being very low on Redgar as well, I think that Giants is still going to be really good.
Yeah, that's about how I'm feeling about that. Yeah, that's about what I'm thinking, Josh.
Why is Cloud listed as an IGL as well on Flynn's spreadsheet? Is he going to be picking up IGLing? Is he secondary IGLing? Is he IGLing if they don't go for Redgar?
I don't know. Ask Flynn. What?
I just wondered if you had heard anything. I mean, surely there's some information out there other than just the IGL thing being put next to his name.
I'm just assuming that's a remnant for when they didn't have anything. Like when he didn't have anything.
Flynn would never make a mistake.
Unfortunately, I haven't really been keeping my ear to the ground on the latest rumblings in the Giants camp. I'm more concerned with ZETA Division right now, right?
True.
I'm thinking about, Mixwell as a free agent. Maybe they can lean in that direction. Someone experienced. Get the Spanish market involved.
before Redgar was rumored, it was just Cloud had IGL next to it because they didn't have a fourth person or a fifth person.
Paula has got the information. I feel like, are we really at the end of the show already? I feel like, how long has this been?
Like an hour and 40 minutes. We're speed running.
Well, all of our off-season episodes have been fairly short because, to be honest with you, you can't talk too much about like complete speculation about how a team's going to perform when you have no matches to look at.
We need more
like
tangents. We need to stop bringing the show back to Valorant. We need to like pad the extra hour of free entertainment in here somehow.
Surely people don't want 3 hours of rambling rather
people,
than
do you want 3 hours of rambling? They don't watch for Valorant. They watch for rambling.
That one tournament that I forgot the name of that I leaked really poorly did get announced. It's that like tournament that like Cloud9 and T1 are in and some other teams, I think.
Oh, the Korean one?
Did y'all see that? It's like a 4-team tournament. There you go.
To Korea, yeah.
Additional
Did you
topic.
DM Rob Moore and like tell him about it?
What was that?
You didn't tell. Did you tell? You didn't tell everyone about it. You didn't get Sentinels there. That's really sad.
No, I tried, but I
The
tried.
tournament was announced though.
And
Is it announced?
What
is this tournament called?
What the hell are you guys talking about?
I don't know.
Tournament. I think it's in Asia with Cloud9, T1, and like 2 of the Chinese teams. I think.
Is it the Indian
It's
Predator
EDG.
League 2024?
I think it's
They have
EDG
True
and
Rippers
DRX.
versus Orangutan right now.
It is not that.
That's gonna
It's
be
definitely
hype.
not that. It's like a 4-team tournament with all partnership teams. I just was saying that that's happening. It's at like the end of October, and I don't remember. The details are escaping me. Cloud9 are in it. Some other teams are in it. There's 4 teams, partnership teams in a tournament.
It's called the 10 Valorant Global Invitational.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
that looks
about,
sick.
baby.
DRX T1 Cloud9 EDG. That's a great tournament.
That's a nice little bracket. That's a juicy little bracket right there. And that's in like a few
looks
weeks,
really
right?
Cool. When does it say? It says no, it says it starts in 3 days.
Oh, well, there you go.
Cloud9 is flying. That's why they had the like flight thing in their announcement videos, because they were flying to Korea, and they teased it in that announcement video too.
That's pretty sick.
The layers, the marketing team went crazy. That'll be cool though, guys. Next week, hey, we got content. we can talk about a thing that happened, like a tangible, real things that are happening.
There's a shit ton of stuff happening right now. Like there's game changers on both that is qualifying everybody for champions. There's the Chinese tournament that just happened as well, which is qualifying people for Ascension. That's still ongoing. Split 2 is going to happen. And Ascension in China is going to happen, I guess, in November, January, December, January, something like that. So there's about to be a fuck ton of Valorant.
So China is doing a tournament to figure out who's going into Ascension. Are they not just picking organizations as well, though, at the same time?
Yes, they are picking organizations as well.
So we as a viewer have no idea which organizations are already in. So we don't know which matches are relevant because we don't know who needs to compete for the spot and who doesn't.
Precisely.
Well, no, not really, because everybody needs to compete for the spot. Everybody's playing right now, and like if they don't make it into partnerships, they've got to make it through the Ascension. So it's just like,
right.
It's not like the players know. Guaranteed, the players don't know that they made it into partnership yet. I guarantee you, they're gonna find out on Twitter in fucking 3 weeks or whatever.
That's the classic. All right, well that's cool. Glad that we got 2 nice little tournaments this weekend. GC, the cup, the long named cup with DRX and EDG and some cool teams.
I watched all the Pacific show match tournaments last year, and I'm not doing that again. I'm sorry, Wyatt. I'm not watching this.
Isn't this a real tournament with like a prize pool? It's not a show match thing?
Probably like 20K. You think these guys care?
There's like 2 million or something.
Oh shit!
2 million?
I don't know.
Excuse me?
Isn't it?
10 Valorant.
2 million? There's no shot. It's 2 million.
I thought it was a pretty big prize pool.
10 Valorant Global Invitational. TBA USD.
It doesn't even say.
What is it called?
Dude, are you just
Where are you
leaking
guys
that as a
finding
2
this
million prize pool? I was looking on
furiously
Wikipedia.
Googling this and no one can find it.
10 season 23.
Wyatt's just made it
Source,
up.
I made it up.
Source: Wyatt's own pockets. He's giving the winner 2 million.
I'm telling you, there's
Good
it's
bait.
like a
Good bait.
it's like a real deal tournament.
The esports night.
It's a what is the name of the tournament, Josh? I'm getting to the
The 10
the bottom
Valorant
of this.
Invitational.
And not like 10 the player, not like 10's the player, just 10, like R10.
Right, the 10 Valorant Invitational, Global
Like the guy on
Invitational.
Sentinels?
Kurt, I'm going to
What
send you
kind
the
of
link.
currency would that even make sense for to have
Yes,
a 2 million
that's it.
prize pool TBD? Did you read that as 10? And
This
think
is
it was
$2
like,
million.
oh, 2?
No, that's just I've heard the
$2
rumors.
billion.
I'm sure.
TBD.
$2 billion.
I think it's going to be a good tournament. Come on, you
Yeah, I
can't.
think it is too.
Like you telling me all these teams are going there just to have a romp, just to be silly.
Wait. I just
They're taking it
hold on,
seriously.
hold on. Dude, look at this, Kurt. The poster for this tournament that they posted on the Brenna Esports account. I don't know why it's always Bren in Asia, but look at the poster. The tournament is called 10 Valorant Global Esport or Global Invitational. And you know what 10 stands for?
The number 10, probably.
Not $10 million. The esports night.
The esports night
It's 2
Valorant
days.
Global
It's
Invitation.
2 days.
Nice.
I don't get it.
Wait,
That's
but there's
fine.
only one night between 2 days. They are correct.
No, but it's going to be played in the
It's going to be
evening,
played
surely.
at night, of course.
You
Right, but it's not going to be. It's going to be played in the evening. You don't get to the second night. It concludes before the second night.
No, wait,
Evening
what?
is night. Is that not equivalent? I'm confused. here.
No, night is like after evening.
What
That's
are you
not
talking
true!
about, bro?
Yeah, it goes
Nighttime?
like morning, midday, afternoon, evening, night, and then you get
No,
to
it doesn't!
morning again.
It does.
Okay, what?
Yeah,
what
Josh
would it
is
be
correct.
like? Yeah.
Dog, the only reason you ever think about that is because nighttime you don't drink your tea. You get your evening tea, your mid-afternoon tea, your fucking morning. That's it's fucking crazy, bro.
If
No,
you
that's
said
exactly
I go
how
to
Josh
bed
is
at-
so right.
Yeah, I mean, if you said I eat my dinner in the evening and it was like 11:59 p.m., like when in your head does the evening end?
The evening ends at like 8 or 9 p.m.
The evening
So
ends
it's
when
just
it gets dark.
just a cultural definition, and then it transitions to nighttime.
Yeah, I mean, nighttime
Bruh,
nighttime is when
and
it's
evening
dark.
are when it's dark, bro.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
No.
It isn't.
Evening
No,
is
it's
after
not.
midday.
Evening is when it's getting
Motherfucker,
dark.
I live in the north of England. The sun sets here at 4 p.m. in winter. We are plunged into eternal darkness in the winter.
special.
It is the
It's the
afternoon.
evening in the
bro.
Northeast, in the Midwest, in every fucking place in
It's
the
the
in
afternoon.
world.
We live
It's
on
the
the same
afternoon.
latitude or
Cut all the
longitude. I don't know which
mics.
one's right.
No, we don't.
Fucking
No,
hell.
we don't. No, we do
It's
not.
basically the same thing.
You motherfuckers are Mediterranean in the northeast. We live so much higher north.
Dog, have you been to the Northeast? Check the fucking
Pull
weather.
up
It's
the
not Mediterranean.
globe. Pull up the globe.
No.
Pull up the fucking concentric rings around the
Dude,
earth.
this is an NA moment. Mimi.
It's a
I'm
fucking
sorry to
straight
tell you.
line.
It's not. Well, it's a straight line if you do it like
If you
that.
look at a map projections are famously always correct, and they tell me that it gets fucking dark at 4 p.m.
Okay,
And
what-
that is nighttime. When
Where-
it's dark, it's night. When it's evening, it's evening.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are
I
you
grew
from?
up in Wisconsin. I live in Philadelphia.
Which do you want? Which do you think is
Let's
further
say
north?
Wisconsin. Wisconsin's
Yeah.
further north. What is this?
Yes.
It's a fucking Skyrim head ass shit. The Brazilian Ocean.
I'm playing fucking Valheim right now. Holy. Dude, this is crazy. Wait, where's St. Helena City? This is crazy.
This is
What
the
is
land
this?
is the ocean and the ocean is the land.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is kind of rad. I'm not gonna lie.
Labrador City, we could live there.
Dude, that
Oh
rules.
my god.
The Great Islands.
I like how the UK just disappeared. It's just the English lake.
Wait. The Midwest just becoming like 3 islands is kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie. Hi, Wyatt.
Hi.
Where's the metropolitan area.
Yeah, Mimi, you've got
We
one
have
more
so many more
metropolitan
degrees.
area to discuss.
We
if
have
you're
so
interested.
many more degrees. It's unbelievable. You're living at 40 degrees north. We're living at 55 degrees north. That's so many more degrees.
And does that change that night is when it's dark and evening is after midday?
Bro, shut
Yes,
the fuck
well,
up about
yes.
degrees. You don't have a degree. You got kicked out of school, you fucking idiot.
This is what happens to extend the podcast to 3 hours. We just rant about latitudes.
I get paid by the hour. I'm content with sitting here. Oh, another
Billable
50
hours,
grand?
baby.
All right,
Uh,
let's send this sucker home.
I gotta go to the DMV. Let's fucking close it out.
Yeah, Mimi's got to go get wasted. Jesus Christ. This might be the clip. How the fuck is it? It's like attached to his leg. Dude, what the fuck? This is Wyatt's weekly award. Glad I could get that one untangled. You know, we talked about him, and I'm just I'm happy for him. It's a big moment in their their life, seeing how it'll affect all aspects of life, personally, career, and everything. So I am going to be giving the weekly award here to Ye. I'm just so happy for him that he gave birth. Well, he didn't give birth, but was a part of the birthing process. This beautiful baby. Congratulations to Ye. Just so fantastic.
Congratulations.
Such a beautiful
Congratulations,
thing
Ye.
life is. Right, guys?
it's kind of messed up that he's just moving across the world as soon as he becomes a father, though.
The things men will do to get out of fatherhood. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Sad to see it.
God damn it. I'm just happy for you, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. All right. Everybody, we're not extending this show any further. I'm done with this. I'm done. We'll see you next week for episode 149. See ya.